evening, ladies and gentlemen. Right, okay, you guys have totally caught me off guard. Okay, right, listen, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Good evening, everyone. We are talking about the breaking news of the hour. Yvette Cooper, the British Foreign Secretary, she is making threats to Russia. Threats that I think are a little bit unbased. But as we are right now, ladies and gentlemen, the United Kingdom are threatening Russia. And look, guys, let's just face it. Britain is going to war. I think that is an inevitability, and I know you guys do too. So that's what we're going to be talking about on this live stream. Afterwards, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a breakdown on what's happening politically in the United Kingdom. I'm going to give you guys a rundown what a side-by-side with Reform and Restore UK. I'm going to talk about that. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into this, I'm only mildly drunk tonight. So I'm only mildly drunk. What does that mean for you guys? First of all, it means I'm not totally drunk, but I am mildly drunk, which means I doubt I'll be slurring my words tonight. But listen, guys, if I am slurring my words, just go with it, because we are literally living on the brink of a total catastrophe. Before I get onto this live stream as well, tomorrow I'm going to be doing a prepping. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a prepping marathon. There's quite a few videos. There's 2 videos I want to do tomorrow. One of them, right? And I know this is wild, guys. Listen, so just bear with me for like 30 seconds, and then we'll get onto this. Earlier on, I was going to do a prepping 101 alien invasion video, and I know it was going to be a little bit of a silly video, as in how to prepare for an alien invasion. Right now, I started looking into this, and the information that I found and the connections I was making, I didn't have time to do it because I was researching this, guys. I was going down rabbit holes and looking and cross-referencing and checking things. So that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. But before we get on, ladies and gentlemen, let me finish this and then we'll get on to it, because what's the point in having a half a beer? Having half a beer sat there is totally gay. So I'll get rid of this now. I'll get rid of that now. Right, we will just get on to this, ladies and gentlemen, because I do feel a little bit about it now. I've also got some videos to share with you guys. I've got some videos to share with you guys. So, first of all, let's go to the news of the hour. Because unless you've been in a cave, nobody cannot see what is happening right now in the world, right? It does look like, and you know what? I was telling you guys this was coming a long time ago, but it does look like the United Kingdom is heading for WW3. The United Kingdom looks like they're going to have to face off with Russia, with their NATO allies, and I don't think they're ready. But look, whatever. Let's just talk about it, because our Foreign Secretary today, Yvette Cooper, is demanding. She's threatening action against Russia after rock solid evidence. It's rock solid, guys. It's rock solid, right? After rock solid evidence, and in a minute, I'm going to share with you guys how this evidence is like definitely not rock solid. So, if you're in the United Kingdom, our own, Foreign Secretary, she is demanding action. She's threatening Russia. She's throwing threats at Russia after so-called, rock solid evidence proves. And look, guys, I'm not saying they didn't, and the likelihood is they probably did, but I don't know. I've not looked at the evidence, right? Rock solid evidence proves that the Russians took out Alexei Navalny with, wait for it, frog poison. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. So they're saying that the Russians took out Navalny with frog poison. Now, look, I don't even know where I go with this. I don't know where I go with this, so I'm not going to go anywhere with it, right? I'm just going to give you the facts, right? I'm going to give you the facts because, like, Vladimir, how do you want to take out Navalny? What do you mean? Do you want to blow him up in plane crash? Do you want him to be shanked in prison and no medical assistance? Do you want him to die slowly by hanging by Tatushka? No, Yura. For Navalny, we want special. We want special fate for Navalny. Oh, yes, Vladimir, what do we want? Give him the frog poison. No, Vladimir, the frog poison is safe for only our worst enemies. Yes. Da, Conrad. Take frog poison to Navalny. Like, I don't like, there's so many ways you could get rid of a political opponent, right? While he's in prison. Frog poison? Look, I'm just going to go with it, right? I'm going to go with it. I'll be honest with you. We're heading, if anybody, I'm only mildly drunk tonight, guys, so I hope I don't slur my words. So I'm going to say this right now. In my heart, I do think the Russians took him out, right? I do. I think that's happened. But frog poison? Really? You really? Dart frog? Is that where we're going? You use dart? All the options that you guys had, right? And you use dart frogs? Right, whatever, we'll just go with it, right? Let's just go with it. Let's just go with it and stick with the facts, right? Yes, Vladimir, it's last thing those communists... Sorry. Yes, Vladimir, it's last thing capitalist pig will expect. Yes, Yura, I know. No one ever expects dart frog poison. While they are in prison, they always think it's going to be Shank or Epstein hanging, and then he turn up in Israel. So that's allegedly. Look, guys, I can't even say allegedly. That's what all the people are saying that took out Navalny. I'm just in my logical brain, right? My logical brain. I'm thinking, why? Why? Surely, whatever. Let's just get on with this, guys. Otherwise, if I start ranting about this, we'll be on here for 3 hours or something. So, frog poison. Yes, you heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. The obscure toxin from the Ecuadorian duck. Vladimir, what frog shall we use? There is only one frog for Alexei Navalny. It has to be Ecuadorian dart frog. Oh, what about rattlesnake? No, Yura. We must use very best poison for Alexei. Use Ecuadorian dart frog. Okay, it will take some time because I have to send Vova. I have to send Vova and Sasha back because they only just come back from Schiphol poisoning in the United Kingdom. Don't worry, time is on our hand. We have him in prison. Fucking look, whatever. We'll go with it. Let's just go with it. Like I keep saying to you guys, right? The reality, excuse me, I think somebody's giving me some Ecuadorian dart frog poison. The reality doesn't matter, right? The reality doesn't matter. It's the perception of that reality. So if we're being told, okay, honestly, when I read this, I keep laughing. I can't stop laughing. Honestly, I cannot stop laughing when I keep and I know I shouldn't because somebody's died, right? And I had to look at what the what an Ecuadorian dart frog was. So I had to look at this, and this is from Blue Planet. So they're talking about stuff like dart frogs and stuff. So I didn't know what an Ecuadorian dart frog was. So apparently, poisonous dart frogs are undoubtedly beautiful creatures with exotic colors. Blah, blah, blah. Let's go down. That's one of the creatures there. They're absolutely beautiful. Right, there we are. Look. How poisonous are poison dart frogs? Not all poison dart frogs are poisonous. Doesn't make sense, right? Anyway, whatever. Right, where is it going? To put this toxicity into perspective, the most poisonous of the lot is the golden poison frog. And then there's some Latin, which is thought to have toxins in its skin to kill either 20,000 mice or 20 fully grown men. Right, now where's this thing down here? There was something else I wanted to talk about. Do you know what? Maybe it's not. Right, I can't find it, but it's on there somewhere. I don't want to waste time looking at that, guys. But basically, they're called an Ecuadorian dart frog because the indigenous tribes of Ecuador, you know, the indigenous tribes of Ecuador, they would use. You can basically rub your spears or your darts on the skin of an Ecuadorian dart frog, and it will become poisonous, and then you can fire your darts, and that animal will then die. So it makes your you know, so they're used in Ecuador as like a hunting tool, right? So anyway, guys, listen, let's just go with it. So yes, you heard that right, ladies and gentlemen. The obscure toxin, the Ecuadorian dart frog, has been used in another assassination. I can't even keep a straight face. Let's flash 2 years back, okay? So for those of you guys who don't know, Navalny has been a political opponent of Vladimir Putin. He actually flew back to Russia to face charges. Big mistake, Navalny. You know, great guy, I'm sure. He looks very Russian. If you've seen him, he looks very Russian. In his prime, obviously, not now. So, that Navalny, you know, he was claimed to be a fearless thorn in Putin's side. He drops dead in a grim Siberian prison on charges that I don't really understand. Moscow's initial reaction was natural causes. Again, I don't know what's happening here, guys. I'm just giving you the lowdown. So the Russians are saying that his death was natural causes. Yes, of course, this is natural causes. He come to Siberian prison. Now he did. Of course, many people die in Siberian prison. Very cold. But his widow, Yulia, has been screaming murder from the rooftops. Now, laboratories from 5 European countries testing samples, and here's where it just gets weird to me, that were smuggled out like something from a spy thriller, confirm it to be poison. Now, who's saying that the sample smuggled out wasn't fake? Look, guys, I don't know what the case is here. If you're asking me, I would say absolutely. You know, the Russians did bump him off. They've got no reason not to. They've got every opportunity to do that. But using frog poison, Ecuadorian dart frog poison, I mean, whatever. I'm just gonna go with it, guys. I'm just gonna go with it. So there were samples smuggled out like some 1960s spy thriller, and they all confirmed that it was poison. Yvette Cooper standing tall and strong. When I say tall, I mean relative, because I know she's only small. Yvette Cooper, the British Home Secretary, she's not mincing her words. She's standing tall and strong. Remember, she can't, you know, whatever. She says Russia has the means, the motive, and the opportunity, which is true, which says to me, why use dart frog? Just have somebody go in there and shank him and say he got into a fight. Literally, you don't need to use Ecuadorian dart frogs. But again, whatever, we're just going to go with this, right? Now, Yvette Cooper is also saying that this is a blatant breach of international chemical weapons rules. What the actual fuck? What? International chemical weapons rules? That doesn't even make sense. That sentence in itself makes no sense, guys. I promise you. That sentence makes no sense. So Yvette Cooper, I'll share with you guys the video in a minute. Is saying she was standing on a snowy rooftop in Munich. Look, she was looking like you know, at the end of, I think it's Skyfall. You know, at the end of Skyfall, where Bond's on the rooftop and there's like the Union flags over London, but we all know that Palestinian flags are all over London, right? And Pakistani flags, you know. So we all know it's fake. It might have been AI, I don't know. It was kind of picturesque of that. But she was talking from a rooftop in Munich, and she's saying, "We demand action. We, the British government, we demand action." It's fantastic that they can demand action, but they can't stop the boats. And look, I'm all for defending Europe, and I'm all for, you know, I don't think the Russians will bring anything good to Europe. I would say counter. They're going to bring bad stuff to Europe. But if you can't get your own house in order, you kind of can't be going telling other people to get their houses in order, right? So she tells the BBC from a snowy rooftop in Munich, pushing for more coordinated sanctions against Russia to hit them where it hurts. Now, here's where it gets grim, ladies and gentlemen, because it does. It gets grim. And look, if anyone on the chat, right, have I got the chat on? I don't know. Yes, I've got the chat on. Right. Hello, everyone. Listen, I'll jump onto the chat in a second. Look, if anyone on the chat right now, any of you fantastic, beautiful people on the chat think that Britain is not heading towards a war with Russia, please let me know in the chat and tell me how that doesn't happen. So where it gets grim is Yvette Cooper is not stopping at Navalny. She's tying it all together to the bigger picture of Russian aggression. From lethal toxins on their own citizens to threats across Europe, and she's there in Munich at the Munich Security Conference with our own Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, both hammering home the same direction of travel, the same dire warning. We have to face that. Sorry, that's not what they're saying. Yes, we have. Sorry, I'll just do it in my voice, right? We've got to face down Putin. We've got to let the truth out about his regime. And they're right. They are right, guys. They are right. If the Russians take, first of all, the Russians going into Ukraine was not provoked. It wasn't. And listen, guys, if anybody's in the chat and they say, Sean, the Russians, it wasn't provoked. Fucking tell me how it was provoked. If anyone look, guys, and I get this, right? There's a lot of alternate media channels out there. First of all, they don't know. They're not as smart as me. I do this on my own, guys. I do this. Raven rolls solo. I'm one raven flying alone. Now we do. Right, Raven rolls solo. Raven flies solo. I do all my own work. I do all my own analysis. All right. The problem is you've got like there's like hundreds and thousands of like every man and his dog trying to be an expert. And it seems like the trendy thing in alternate media is the Ukrainians provoked Russia. What? Tell me how go on, tell me that again. Tell me that again. Tell me go on, explain that one to me. Well, the Ukrainians were having secret CIA bases so the CIA were like putting up secret bases in Ukraine, and they were preparing for what? Have you heard yourself? Have you really heard yourself? Secret base, secret. Look, I'll let everyone into a little secret. Hashtag real talk, fam. There's no such thing as a secret base. There isn't. There's no such thing as a secret base. Any base in a host country, you have to have the host country's permission. That's it. There is no ifs and buts. There's no ifs and buts. You can't turn up, right, into it just doesn't work. Their security forces will take you down. You can't turn up with a briefcase full of cash and say, I'm going to start a secret training base here and I'm going to start training. It doesn't work like that, guys. It does not work like that. I promise you. What happens is the host country invites you. The host country says, listen, we are really worried about the security threat on these borders. Will you please come and do some shit in my country? And then that happens. So there's no such thing as secret bases. Anyway, right, guys, let me keep to this because, like I said, I am mildly drunk. That doesn't mean I'm drunk. It means I'm mildly drunk. I hope I'm not slurring my words. Now, you know, like I just said, you know, they're out there at this Munich security conference. Keir Starmer's they're both hammering home the same warning, right? The same warning about the Russian regime, you know, looking at facing down Putin, you know, saying that we need to get the truth out there about the Russian regime. And they're right. They are absolutely right, guys. You know, and look, like I said, I do my own stuff. When I agree with someone, I'll say I agree with them. You know, and that's true. The truth is the most dangerous weapon of all. And I agree with that as well. The truth is a dangerous weapon. That's why many try to conceal the truth. Now, let's just double this up and let's go back and then let's look back in. Let's zoom out, then zoom in, right? Because Keir Starmer's comments yesterday straight out saying that Europe must be ready to fight. Literally, he said that, particularly against Russia. He's not joking around. He's talking boots on the ground, you know, NATO alliances minus the United States, ready to go. Let's put this all together. And it does look like we are on the path to war. For those of you guys who are old enough to remember, this to me feels like the build-up to the Iraq War in 2003. I should know I was there on the invasion, right? This to me feels like the build-up to the Iraq War in 2003. Excuse me. Where you are pumping the public full of a certain rhetoric. And look, guys, I'm not going to say that rhetoric's wrong because it kind of isn't. But I do think we should build spaceships rather than guns, bombs, tanks, planes, trains, and automobiles. But look, we're not there yet. I hope after this war we will, but that's not what we're talking about tonight. So this does look like we are on the path to war, plain and simple. The Russians, how do you think the Russians are going to take this? How do you think Russian media, Russian mainstream media, Russian state-operated media, how do you think they are going to be reporting to their citizens? What do you think Russian media is saying to their citizens? They will see this as a direct threat. They will see this as Britain threatening Russia. They will see Keir Starmer's speech yesterday as, look at Keir Starmer. He can't even hit punch bag. Now he wants to threaten Russia? We'll destroy capitalist pig. Yura, take the motorbikes. Okay, Vladimir, I take motorbike. Sanctions, accusations, military tough talk. The Russians are going to dig in. And they are digging in, guys. Whether the Russians like it or not, they understand that they're in a war, right? The Russians understand that now. When the war in Ukraine started and when the 2022 invasion happened, the war started in 2014. When the 2022 invasion of Ukraine happened, a couple of things happened in Russia. Initially, normal rank and file Russians like you and me, who are just great, they're like good people. Honestly, like, they're just normal people, right? They're normal people. Different to you and me culturally, yes. Better? No. Worse? No. They're just different, right? Different people. They don't want war. They want what I want. They want what you want. They want a future for their families. They want their children to grow up in safety. And they want their culture to continue. That's what everybody wants, right? Come on, guys. That's what everybody wants. It is. It's what everyone wants. Unfortunately, we are where we are, right? And I tell you guys what's coming. So initially, the Russians were totally against this war. As it went on, the Russians now understand that if they don't win this war, Europe's going to take them, which is true. likewise, the flip side of that coin, if Europe doesn't win this war, the Russians are going to take them. So, like I've said, in so many videos, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, so many videos, I've said this. Make sure you hit those buttons down below, like, comment, subscribe, guys. That's what I always say. No, what I'm saying is, what I say in a lot of my videos is, we are going to be at a stage very soon. Very soon. I would say we're already here. Where it's not going to matter who did what. It's not going to matter what nationality those rent boys were from. It's not going to matter who sent that missile. None of this is going to matter. All that's going to matter is winning and losing. And everything else is condiments. And that's what happens. And the leaders, you know, those people who got us in there, they're like, oh, well, you don't want to lose. You don't want to lose because if you guys lose, it's going to be bad. So you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. Right, okay. It's like, you know your kids, right? When you ask them to do something and they don't do it and you shout at them and then they still don't do it and you end up doing it for yourself. It's kind of like the same thing, right? So the Russians are going to dig in. They'll ramp up their hybrid warfare, cyber attacks, maybe even poisoning plots. With escalations piling up, Ukraine grinding on, drone warfare droning on, right? Missiles flying in the Middle East. The path feels inevitable now. One wrong move, one itchy trigger finger, and war could and probably will start by accident. Misfired drone, a hacked system, a border skirmish gone wrong. It was only last year, or maybe the year, but I can't remember when it was. At some point, there was a Russian warship in the Baltics. In the Baltics, right? The Russians have got a military base in the Baltics, and there was a German helicopter that was flying close to it, right? Now, the Russians fired, I think it was like signal flares at the direction of the helicopter, right? Now, this is how it goes wrong. This is how it goes wrong, because that scenario there, one error, one human error, and World War III starts in about 30 minutes. 30 minutes, it's gone, it's finished, it's done. There ain't no going back, Jack. This is how I think that it will start. And I'm using that as an example, right? It could be anything. It could be anything. So in that scenario, right, imagine if one thing went wrong. One tiny thing went wrong. And as we are now, we have NATO Article 4 has been invoked by many countries. Now, what that means, sorry, guys, I know this is, give me a second. All right. So what that means is, because NATO Article 4 has been invoked, that means that now the rules of engagement have changed. Because what happens is when you invoke Article 4 of the NATO Articles of Memorandum, or whatever it's called, everybody thinks NATO Article 5 has teeth. NATO Article 5, guys, it's not, I promise you, NATO Article 5 is not worth the paper it's written on. And if anybody thinks that it is, I'm happy to intellectually challenge that at every word of that. I can probably repeat it verbatim. Article 4 is where the teeth is, right? So Article 4 is where you call in your NATO members, your friends, your bros, your homies, your fellowship of the missile, right? Your fellowship of the ring. And you say, right, guys, I'm worried about the Russians doing this. If this happens, what can I do? And what will you do to support me? Right? So you call everyone in, they say, right, okay, right. If you get fired on by the Russians, yeah, okay, you fire back and we will support you by doing X, Y, and Z. Right, okay, got that. So you sign it off. I'm assuming there's a stamp somewhere. There's always a stamp. People love stamps, right? There's a stamp. There's a few signatures, and that's it then. It's done. So let's go through these two scenarios again, right? The scenario I just gave you, the Russian ship in the Baltics, German helicopters flying close. The Russians, I'm assuming it's, I don't know what it is, fired a signal flare at the helicopter or in the area of the helicopter or whatever. Doesn't really matter. Before Article 4 had been invoked, that pilot or the Lodi or whoever would have had to call that and said, hey, listen, guys, we are being fired on here. Do we have permission to respond? Like, can we shoot these guys? Can we fire at this ship? Then that would have gone to an admiral or somebody in an ops room or somebody on the desk, and they would have said, oh, fuck. Well, that's World War III. Yeah, wait out. Yankee 1-4 Bravo, this is 0, wait out. Oh, fuck me, yeah, I'm not giving that all day. Yeah, he's on the phone, he's like, yeah, no, they fired at him. Can we shoot back? And by the time it's all gone, it's finished, it's done, right? Now NATO Article 4 has been invoked in many countries. They've already rubber stamped that shit, right? So now the same German helicopter flying on the same task, but now Article 4 is being invoked, right? So now the pilot, the crew, everybody know that if they get fired on, they can cry havoc and let slip the dogs of war, right? God for Harry and St. George. And upon this cry shall God for Harry and England and St. George. They can let those missiles go, right? So, same scenario. Now, Article 4 has been invoked. But guess what? I'm going to throw in a curveball. At 2 o'clock in this hypothetical scenario, the commander of that Russian ship said, okay, everybody, change ammunition to signal flare. But guess what? Yura or Vasnia was in the toilet, right? Vasnia was in the toilet looking at his OnlyFans. He's like, yes, I like OnlyFans. I have many British girlfriends. I pay them £3.60 a month. You know, it's very good deal for me. Everybody gets something. They say I can move to Britain and have visa. No, I have to move in the Hala Hills. I don't want to go there. I stay in the Russian army. Whatever, right? You know I'm going. So now Vasnia was in the toilet when that order gave. So they've still got live ammunition, right? Vasnia comes out the toilet and the commander says, okay, gunner number 7, fire warning shot at infidel. That's something else. Fire warning shot at capitalist pig helicopter. So Vasnia, straight out the toilet, looking at his OnlyFans, he's like, oh my God, okay, I get this. And Vasnia's thinking he's going to get promotion. He's like, I take you now, capitalist pig. Bam, 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 bam. Guess what? All of a sudden, you've got live ammunition going towards this helicopter. This is a mistake now. This is a total human error, right? Helicopter, they don't call anything in now. They don't need to call anything in because Article 4's already been invoked, right? Article 4's already been invoked. They've got all the shit. It's been stamped. It's been signed. They know that if they get fired on by the Russians, they throw down the missiles, right? They throw down the missiles. So guess what? The German helicopter gets hit, gets a clip. Mayday, mayday, mayday. They fire some air-to-surface missiles, ship missiles. All fucking hell breaks loose. And the first thing we hear about it, 2 Russian ships have been sank, 4 helicopters have gone down, Oshniks fired on 3 NATO bases, and all fucking hell's broken loose. All because Vasnia was in the toilet updating his OnlyFans. That's how it's probably going to go, right? I think that is how World War III will start. And then it's just started then. Nobody ever wants to start a war, right? Right, let me jump onto the chat, guys, because I definitely need a wee. I need a wee. Right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the live stream. We are talking about the breaking news of the hour, of the day. The United Kingdom are threatening Russia. And look, is anyone out of the question? Does anybody think Does anybody think that the United Kingdom, that Britain is not going to war with Russia? Right. Give me 2 secs because I absolutely need the toilet, guys. Give me 2 secs. I'll be back. I'll be on the chat and then we've got some videos to go through. So give literally like 30 seconds. Oh. Thank you for waiting around, guys. I really appreciate it. Right, let's jump on. Let's get some comments, guys. Bowser is saying deport, deport, deport. Okay, we'll go with deport, deport, deport. Andrew Fish is saying, have we got an army anymore? Yeah, so the parachute regiment are having the parachutes taken away from them. The military that we have right now in Britain has been emasculated. It has been hit by cuts after cuts after cuts. It's embarrassing. It's just it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Sean is saying we won't go to war. Right, Sean. Thank you for your comment, mate. Tell me what the runoff is. Tell me how that doesn't happen. And listen, Sean, I really am interested in your perspective. Sean PB, I think that's personal best, and he's got 2279. So that's either like that may be his army number or something. But Sean PB, sorry, he's saying we won't go to war. I think we will. I think it's an inevitability. Now, the path towards that, what we actually mean by war, I think are open to debate. But I do, if we mean war by we have British soldiers on the ground in Ukraine fighting with Russians, you could argue whether that's a war or not. And I get that, because some people might say that is a security mission or a special military operation and it's never really a war. And I get that. That's that's the definition of war. But what I'm saying is we are going to have very soon a situation where British boots on the ground in Ukraine are in active combat with, not with the Ukrainians, with the Russians. And I don't see the runoff. We are in war if you like a 5th generation war, if you don't want... What? Right, Sean, you've just said you were not going to war. Now you're saying we are in war. Right, so Sean, first you said we're not going to... Right, okay. Are you saying we're not going to war? We are... Right, okay, I understand. So Sean is saying we are not going to war. We are in war. If you like, I think that's what it means, a 5th generation war, if you want to go there. Yeah, so I think what Sean is saying is we're not going to war. We are already in war. And it would be hard to... it would be hard to disagree with that, because we've already seen the what's the word I'm looking for? The networks, right? The networks of subversion that are in the United Kingdom. We've seen the networks of hoteliers, Eastern Europeans who work in hotels who are recruiting people to conduct sabotage operations. Right, listen, guys. Oh, hang on a minute. Let's not put everyone in the same category like a narrow-minded fool. I agree. Let's not put everyone in the same category like narrow-minded fools. Right, listen, guys. The chat's going bonkers, all right? The chat's going bonkers, right? I can't get everyone's chat, so I've got a few videos to share with you guys. Now, the videos I'm going to share with you guys are, excuse me, that's for tomorrow. Okay, so I'm going to share with you guys a video. I don't know when I need to preload this video. It's only like 30 seconds, but this video is, if we can't look after our own country, right? If we cannot look after our own country, you kind of can't go to a war, right? You know, charity starts at home, right? Security starts at home. So let me share with you guys this video. Let me see what you guys think. I'm not going to pass comment on this. This is a video from X, right? I'm just going to let this play. I do watch the videos now so they don't land me in trouble.
Covered from head to toe.
Guys, let me know if you can hear this, okay? Let me know if you can hear this.
Ultimately, I want to see every single woman in this country covered from head to toe. I want to see the hand of the thief cut. I want to see adulterers stoned to death.
Did you hear that? He wants every single woman in the United Kingdom covered from head to toe. How do you girls feel about that? How do you girls feel about that? He wants the hand of the thief cut. If anybody's ever seen one of those, it's fucking horrible. It's horrible. And he wants adulterers to be stoned to death.
I want to see Sharia law in Europe, and I want to see it in America as well.
The only thing I would say is that in America and in the United Kingdom, democracy,
Backwards one,
but it's a system that allows the people to choose what they want and allows people freedom.
So why can't I choose Sharia? When in Rome, overthrow Caesar, implement the Sharia.
In your home.
That was quite funny, actually. That was quite funny. I don't know if you heard him, but he said, when in Rome, overthrow Caesar and implement Sharia. I'm not going to lie, guys. I thought that was quite funny.
You can do whatever you want.
But what about in the public? Why can't I tell you to cover up? Am I free to say that?
Because it would be outrageous.
So where's my freedom? Where's my freedom?
You can say it to me, but
okay, so cover up. Wear the hijab.
Now, I don't know if she's on or not, but there's a girl who's usually on the channel called Silly Gallardi, and she's from Israel. And she was saying something the other day, and she said something the other day, and what she said was, letting people say what they want is a problem in the West. And I was like, oh, I really struggled with what she said. Now, watching this video here of this guy using free speech, saying, where is my freedom to say what I want? And I want you to show me my freedom, saying that you guys need to submit to me. And I was like, the first thing I thought is when, oh, there she is, look. There she is, look. Hiding in the shadows, and Silly said to me, because look, guys, I'm all about letting people say what they want. I really am. Like, if somebody wants to challenge me and call me out, I welcome that. And I'm like, all right, okay, you want to challenge me? Throw it out there and let me, let me know what you think. And when I said that, the lady who I've just showed, Silly, she said, the problems in the West are because you let people say things. And I was like, oh God, where do I go with this? But you know what? I'm gonna throw it out there now. She was absolutely right, and I was wrong. I'll go with this, guys. I don't think people should. But it's a very difficult pill to swallow, isn't it? But let's listen to this again, guys. Let's just go through this again, right? Let's go through this again. And I'll just rewind this slightly.
allows people freedom.
So why can't I choose Sharia? When in Rome, overthrow Caesar, implement the Sharia.
In your home.
Look, guys, no matter how many times I hear that, I think it's funny. When in Rome, overthrow Caesar and implement Sharia.
You can do whatever you want.
But what about in the public? Why can't I tell you to cover up? Am I free to say that?
Because it would be outrageous.
So where's my freedom? Where's my...
So what he's saying there is, and I kind of get it now, right? But we're in such a weird dynamic, right? And I'm kind of like, we're in such a weird dynamic whereby you want people to say what they want, right? You want people to have freedom of speech. But where does that, when you stop letting people say what they want, where does that go? And it's such a weird dynamic because he's articulating himself, right? He's saying, look, if I've got freedom of speech, why can't I tell you to cover up and submit to me? And you're like, and it's like, yeah, like, it's just like, why can't he? So then you have to go down the next road and you have to say, okay, so maybe we shouldn't have freedom of speech. But then where do you go with that? And who enforces that?
Backwards one.
But it's a system that allows the people to choose what they want and allows people freedom.
So why can't I choose Sharia? When in Rome, overthrow Caesar, implement the Sharia.
In your home, you can do whatever you want.
But what about in the public? Why can't I tell you to cover up? Am I free to say that?
Because it would be outrageous.
So where's my freedom? Where's my freedom?
You can say it to me, but
okay, so cover up. Wear the hijab.
That's absurd.
I think that video brings home to me. I think that video to me brings home some absolute truths. It does, guys. It brings home some absolute truths about what is actually happening. And until you see it firsthand, like, look, guys, I'm going down this road now, and I'm saying people should look, guys. When I was younger, I was a total liberal, and right now, I totally understand. I'm saying things on videos like not everyone should have the should have the right to vote. I'm saying free speech shouldn't be, not everybody should be able to say what they want, and it's. We're in a pickle. We are in a pickle. There's one simple solution. There's a simple solution. If you want Sharia and you want that type of life, go to the countries that want that, right? That's totally fine. But then they'll say, oh, yeah, but I've come to your country and I've got freedom of speech. So I choose to have this way of life in your country. So are you saying that I can't choose? Oh, you're draconian. You're right wing, the word beginning with N and in Z. And you're like, oh, God, yeah. And it ties people up in knots, right? It ties people up in knots. Right. I've got another video for you guys. I've got another video to share with you guys. And I love him. I love Ahmed Yaqub. I do, guys. I love Ahmed Yaqub. So let's just share with you guys this video, right? And before I share this video with you guys, I know the crux of this video is UK threatens Russia and Britain's going to war about this political poisoning. But what I'm saying is, if we can't solve the problems in our own country, what the fuck? Why are we, like, honestly, if we can't solve problems in our own country, why are we spending so much time, effort, money, and resources in solving problems, trying to solve countries in, trying to solve problems in other countries? So let me share this video with you guys, okay? Let me share this video with you guys.
My name is Noshin Khalid, and this is Shortcut News, where you're independent candidates for the ward of Allen Rock for the 2026 local elections. And as you can see behind me, the support today has been overwhelming. We're out on a Saturday afternoon, and the people of Allen Rock are saying no more to Labour. It's time for change, and the only way you're going to get it is if you vote for Noshin Khalid and Shortcut News in May 2026.
Yeah. Inshallah.
Okay, so first of all, this guy, I think that's the guy there who is standing for election in Birmingham, right? Now, he's giving his election speech in Birmingham in whatever language he's talking. I think he's talking Arabic, although it's not a dialect I understand. So let's listen to what he says.
इतना काफी सारी मुश्किलात ने सामने आया तो इस बारी जो 2026 ने इलेक्शन हो रहे तो प्लीज सपोर्ट करें नौशीन खालिद नहीं तो शौकत महमूद इंशाल्लाह.
So, I mean, fair points there. Fair points for the people of Birmingham to get behind what he said. I mean, I think there's some good policies.
प्लीज वोट सो नौशीन खालिद की तो शौकत महमूद की वो वर्षे मरे उन्हें सा लेबर की वोट देने रहे हैं उन्हें सा की कुछ नहीं किया उन्हें कोई काम नहीं किया शबाना महमूद आखनी पैलेस्टाइन एक्शन ने जरा गवर्नमेंट फैसला किया उसने खिलाफ अपील कर सा हूं पैलेस्टाइन ने फुली खिलाफ हुए वे असन ने जो वर्कर है उन्होंने फुली खिलाफ हुए वे उन्हें सा की लेबर की मलू बैन करना तो इंशाल्लाह आलम राख नौशीन तो शौकत की वोट देनी.
Again, some great points, some fantastic articulations that the people of Birmingham will absolutely, get their teeth around. The people of Birmingham, they're all about, the people of Birmingham are all about, as he said, Palestine. There is no Birmingham, only Palestine. So, great points for the people of Birmingham to understand. And let's see what this gentleman's saying.
Look at the sport today. Look at the leaflets surrounding.
Oh, fucking hell. Right. We don't have to have an interpreter.
We got Mr. Yaqub.
I love Ahmed. I do. I love Ahmed Yaqub. Remember, for every offense, there's a defense. I love him. I think I get on with him. I'd have him in a headlock and give him a nugget. Look, you've got to understand, the takeover of the United Kingdom is happening, right? These guys are just having a laugh with it, right?
Also, Shakil Afsar from here. He's here. We came out in numbers and we are showing the demand, and the people are asking us, when are the elections taking place? May 2026 are the elections coming up. Come out.
In Alamrak to watch Rashid Khalid and Shaukat Mahmood.
So just for context, these are the people that are going to be, that are standing for election in Birmingham, right? These are the people that are standing for election in Birmingham.
On the 7th of May, they are the best candidates for Alamrak.
पहली तो गल है मैं सारियां ने इतना शुक्रगुजार हाँ जी बड़े दूरों लोग आए असा जो सपोर्ट करने ता मैं इन्होंने शुक्रगुजार हाँ उस अलावा जेडे सारे मुखालिफ की पार्टी है वो आखने पे कि 10 साल असा हुकूमत बाद 8 साल दोस्ता बाहर रहे तो इंशाल्लाह अग्गा भी तो बाहर ही रहे क्योंकि मैं आई
Again, some fantastic points, well articulated, well brought out, brilliant, brilliant candidates here. That's what I think.
हुआ नंबर भाई जी तुसा इंटरव्यू दिता उधर आता चैरिटी इवेंट पर तुसा एक गल ही है कि सारे बिन कलेक्ट होने पे ये जरा आस्टम सुकनी आलमनाक स्पार्क के स्मोरी स्पार्क ग्रुप की जरा गंद पेना पिया ये असा बाने पिया इसमें मतलब वाम बानी भी अगर नहीं तो
Right, I'm going to leave that there, right? The video goes on, right? Right? You can get that, right? You guys can understand it, right? So when Jim Radcliffe the other day came out and he said, Britain, some parts of Britain have been colonized. Now, I talked about this the other day, right? The definition of colonization is the living with and imposing rule over the indigenous people, right? That's the definition of colonization. Can you tell me how that's not happening? Can you tell me how Birmingham's not being colonized? Can anyone look, guys? I know there's a lot of people in the chat. Can anyone tell me how that's not colonization? And I'm trying to think where's the positives here. But as someone that's lived in the Middle East, and look, guys, I'll be quite clear, not all places in the Middle East are the same. I've lived in, I didn't really live there. I spent like a month in Jordan, in Amman. Absolutely amazing place. Look, guys, if anybody gets to If anybody gets a chance to go to Amman in Jordan, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. The people are fantastic. Everything's awesome, literally. And it's like you have Muslims and Christians living together, and there's no problems. There's no problems. Well, I didn't witness any. Anyway, I can't remember where I was going with this. Right, yeah, so the crux of this live stream has been the breaking news that Britain is threatening Russia while Britain's being attacked from within. You know, and it shocks me each and every time we see the mainstream politicians standing up saying that we're going to go and fight the Russians. Like, the Russians don't need to fight us. All the Russians need to do is not fight us, and we're going to be gone in another 10 years, right? Yura, Vladimir. Oh, hang on a minute. Right. Band Again is saying, Sean, stop promoting Muslim. I'm not, look, guys, I'll be honest with you. I'm always honest with you, right? I'm not promoting anyone. I've spent a lot of time in the Middle East, right? I've spent a lot of time in the Middle East, and when I've been in Amman, you literally have Christians and Muslims living together, and there's no problems. There is no problems, right? There is absolutely no problems. So I don't know how I'm promoting or demoting anyone there. I'm giving you guys the truth. Look, do you want me to say, right, do you know what? I'll say this, right? Actually, Band Again, this is for you, mate. This is for you. Yeah, right. In Amman, all the Muslims are just running around chopping, doing wild stuff. That's not true. I'm giving you guys the truth, right? I give you guys the truth, and I tell you guys what's coming. So I'm not promoting anyone at all. There are good and bad people all over the world. Where was I going with this? I can't remember. Right, let me share this video with you. So this is another video. Now, this is out from today, I think. Another church has gone up in flames, guys. Another church in the United Kingdom. Is this? I think this is. No, it's not. Another church has gone up in flames. So it turns out, if you live in the United Kingdom, you know, and across Europe, I guess, this was in Scotland, actually. So if you live in the United Kingdom, it turns out for some unknown reason, there are a lot of churches going up in flames. Now, you could put this down to health and safety. You could put this down to, I don't know, whatever. You know, you guys could put this down to whatever. But it does seem to me, at least, a little bit suspicious that all over the West, all over Europe, churches seem to be going up in flames. Now, it's totally up to you guys. You guys want to jump to conclusions? That is absolutely fine. I'm not going to jump to conclusions because I don't know. But it seems a little bit suspicious that all these churches, all of a sudden, all at the same time, are, you know, setting on fire. Why do you guys think that is? Why do you guys think that is? Siligaladi is saying the only country in the Middle East that number of Christians increased is Israel. Templar Matt is saying churches don't just self-combust. I don't know. Maybe it's a new thing. Maybe it's a new thing. Or maybe they were built with some sort of holy wood. Some sort of holy wood that in 2026 they all start set on fire. Sean, demon walked in and set alight. Yeah, maybe it was. Maybe it was a demon that walked in and set it alight. David King is saying Church of England went gay, churches empty, probably drug addicts. I would say that this is, I would say that, look, I'm not even going to speculate what I think this is. I think you guys know what I think this is. Notre Dame Cathedral, right? If you guys have looked into that and read what really happened at Notre Dame Cathedral, you guys will know exactly, exactly where, what happened. Again, we don't know. We're not allowed to talk about it because it's not official, right? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, you fantastic people. Earlier on, I said to you guys that I would share the video, right, that I'm referencing in this live stream. Totally forgot. So I'm going to share it now. So I kind of apologize. I'm apologizing now. No, I'm not apologizing. I do apologize, right? So earlier on in the live stream, when I started my monologue, we was talking about Yvette Cooper making threats towards Russia. Now, I think her ego's right in checks, her country can't cash, right? I think we need to sort the problems out in our own country first. That's like the A1 priority. We need to sort shit out here in the United Kingdom. Then maybe we can look at, exporting that freedom, democracy, and rule of law. But if we don't have freedom, democracy, and rule of law in our own country, how can we export that? Can you imagine if you was like, you was producing the world's worst vodka and you're like, do you know what? I think we should start exporting our vodka. You're like, yeah, but our vodka's shit. Nobody will want it. And they're like, yeah. That's just why they might want it. You're like, yeah, that's not going to work. So I'm going to share with you guys now the interview from Yvette Cooper. I'll just let it play through because I'm conscious of the time. I'll let this play through. And let me know what you guys think. Do you think? So here's a question, right, guys? Here's a question, right? Do you guys think that Yvette Cooper is her? Do you think that Yvette Cooper is writing checks her body can't cash?
Frog in.
Every time she says it, guys, I can't stop laughing about this dart frog thing. I'm sorry, I'm sorry. I can't stop laughing.
Do you know?
Watch how serious she is when she says, "This is dart frog poison." Sorry.
From the investigation that's been done, whether this was, how can I put this? Was this from frog, or in fact, it would be hundreds of frog, wouldn't it? Or was it done in a laboratory?
Look how serious they are, guys. This is so absurd.
So I can't tell you the details.
I can't tell you the details because I don't know
of that. But as you say, this is a particular chemical. It can be produced.
But as you say, I'll repeat what you just said to me back to you and make it look like it's fresh news.
Synthetically, it can also be found in this particular frog in Ecuador, and we do know that the Russian regime has had possession of this particular chemical. It is obviously not one that is found in naturally in Russia.
Okay, right. So that's what, she goes on and she says they want fresh sanctions. They're threatening Russia. Look, the more like, right, just go with me, guys, right? Go with me, right? So you're there, right? In the Kremlin, Putin, right? Putin's in the Kremlin, right? And he's like, and his top man phones him up. Alexei. No, we'll not use Alexei. I don't know. Vadim phones him up. He's like, Vladimir, Alexei come to Russia. I think he want to start trouble. What do you mean, Vadim? Alexei come to Russia. He bought a plane and he's now in Russia. I think he's wanting to cause trouble for you. Okay, Vadim, have him arrested and send him to Siberia. Okay, Vladimir, good plan. I have Secret Service to it straight away. Right, so he gets there, he then gets arrested and he gets sent to the Siberian work camp or whatever it is. You guys have all seen Stranger Things, right? When Hopper escapes. So he's in this Siberian work camp now, right? And the Russians, they're worried and they're like, right, okay, you know what? It's probably best we get rid of this guy. Bear in mind they've already took out Prigozhin with an explosion on his airplane. If you guys know what's his name, Yuri Prigozhin, he was the mercenary who was threatening Putin, and his airplane mysteriously exploded. So we know that they can do this stuff, right? So Vladimir phones Vadim up and he's like, Vadim. And he's like, yes, Vladimir. And he's like, okay, we need to get rid of Alexei. And he's like, how do we do it, Vladimir? Shall we use exploding prison cell? Shall we use exploding prison cell? Or no, we need to use something very special. We need to use something very special. Okay, what shall we use? Shall we use prison fight gone wrong and we make him suffer for a long time? No, we have to use special tactic with this guy. Bring Ecuadorian dart frog. It just doesn't make sense, right? It makes no sense to me. Anyway, look, guys, and let me be clear, right? Let me be clear. I do think, I think that the Russians will have got rid of him. Whether they used an Ecuadorian dart frog or not, I really don't know, guys. I really don't know. I really don't know. Right, listen, guys, I am going to close this down. I'm going to close this down now because you guys have been fantastic. Cindy Archer is just throwing a load of frogs up there. We love those frogs. We love those Ecuadorian dart frogs. It seems weird, guys, that they would use the Ecuadorian dart frog. I'm not saying that the Russians are good. That, and I know for a fact that they kind of invade countries for a laugh. I just struggle with this one, guys, the Ecuadorian dart frog. Anyway, look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be back on tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'll be giving you guys an update on what's been happening. Also, tomorrow, it's going to be Monday Preppers. It's going to be a prepping marathon tomorrow, right? It is. It's going to be it's going to be a prepper marathon tomorrow, guys. It is. I'm going to do a normal video in the morning. I will then continue and I'll be doing like maybe 2 or 3 Prepping 101 videos. The first one I'm going to do, it's going to be wild, guys. It is. It's going to be wild. I'm going to be talking about aliens. I'm going to be talking about bunkers. I'm going to be talking about deep underground military structures. I'm going to be talking about reptilians. It's going to be wild, guys, all right? I went down a rabbit hole. I kind of wish I hadn't have. But anyway, that's all for tomorrow. So listen, ladies and gentlemen, I bid you all good night. I hope you have a great evening. I will see you all in the morning.